Brother. Welcome to episode 179 of the Dumb Marks podcast. We have Big Business, brother. I'm your host today, Hokey, and we are leaving Donald
Oh,
aside
yeah, the big business, brother. I heard it's a party in here today.
because it's
Somebody
not.
said grab your 40s and Mickeys and drink up, brother. So that's what I'm going to do.
So there's no
And we
Donald
lost
on
Chris. Congratulations. Chris is no longer on the show for today. It's a party, bitches.
There is no Donald on the show today because he's a legend hater. So he asked me to take his spot for him today. So it is 40 years of Hulkamania. The whole episode is going to be Hulk Hogan, or how I should say, me type stuff. So, brother Jason, brother Chris, brother Steve, how are y'all doing this weekend?
I can't deal with y'all fuckers anymore.
No.
This one up here, he has to give his own special entrance. Like, oh, my camera's not working today. Technical issues. Donald at least was here. Like, he's all the shit. Now he's drinking out the 40 too.
I'm too old to wake up for cakes and eggs. But somebody said St. Patrick's Day weekend, we're drinking 40s. I had to break the jersey out of the rafters, pull it down, dust it off, emergency break glass, and get ready for St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Jason, you just want to come on later and do a show?
We can. We can skip ball.
All right.
Between the two of us.
We could do the After Dark episode tonight.
So today we are here to celebrate Hulkamania and its 40th anniversary.
No, I'm not doing that. No. 40, like, oh no, we're not celebrating.
Oh no.
About to kick him out.
Who's the host today? Who's the host?
Hey, we'll end up on drunk bum fights in a little bit. You keep us around.
So we are doing 40 years of Hulkamania today. So the first question I want to ask you brothers about me: how did you become a fan of me, Hulk Hogan?
Hey, look, I'm not talking to you. I'm not. Ain't no you, me. We ain't doing this shit. Me.
Me. Yes, me.
When you were baptized in the water, that's when I became a fan of you.
I first became a fan of Terry Bollea. Back when he slammed Andre the Giant. That I don't know what it was about that, the magnitude of it.
Mm-hmm.
Were you watching then?
I wasn't. I caught it on. I caught later iterations of it, and then it made me go into watch that one. Yeah,
that was
my wasn't watching back then.
That was my first pay-per-view live watching. Was WrestleMania 3. I had my first babysitter ever. Whenever I was a baby, was the one that got me into wrestling. She used to come over Saturday mornings, put it on the TV. I had all the figures and everything, and don't know if it was the red and the yellow or what, but Hogan was the guy, right? So WrestleMania 3, watching it live, first ever, just the spectacle of it. I still remember the flash bulbs going off when he went and picked up Andre. Like, you don't get that now because everything, is so high resolution digital camera. But back in the day, like, that's when you knew a moment was a moment, when you saw the flash bulbs popping off, right? Like, and I kind of miss that in sports where you don't see just flash bulbs all around going off when something special is happening. So yeah, no, that was the first iteration of Hogan fandom, and it was there until, grew up a little bit, got a little older. Hogan kind of went away and wasn't as cool anymore. And then obviously the NWO turn kind of got me back in the fold as far as Hollywood Hogan goes. But once WCW ended, that was it for me with Hogan. I didn't care when he came back to WWE. I wasn't hyped up with him and The Rock in WrestleMania 17. Cool. I'm over it. So yeah, he's younger wise, yes. Older wise now, not so much.
Brother Chris.
I don't know if it was necessarily whenever I actually became the fan, because
So mad.
WrestleMania 6 was whenever I first started wrestling, like watching wrestling. So the Ultimate Challenge is, Warrior's what made me the fan. Sorry, brother. But yeah, that was the first match that got me hooked, was him and Warrior.
Chris was like, cocaine. I'll try that later on.
I've yet to try that.
I hate to say, call it the Laker effect, the Patriots effect, but that's what it was. You came out and you seen it, and he was the guy. That's who you gravitated.
Yes, I was the guy.
Much like that, we're Laker fans.
Was the guy.
Was the guy. Mm-hmm.
We're going past tense.
Yeah.
Hey, look, as much as I hate Hogan, as soon as the music hits, I'm back.
Brother, I was watching TNA on YouTube the other day, and they had the best of Immortal this week.
They did have the best of Immortal this week.
So we ain't talking past tense. We're still reliving these moments, brother.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I definitely had my favorites throughout his run in early WWE, WWF, right? Like, obviously, Warrior was up there, Savage. I was a huge Jake the Snake fan. Loved everything about Jake the Snake. Mr. Perfect. Like, there was definitely other favorites, but it was hard it was either Hogan or Warrior back then. That was it. It was Hogan or Warrior. Unless you were watching WCW, 605 TBS
every Saturday.
It was Hogan or Warrior, and that was it. The lines in the sand were drawn once those two came into play. And ultimately, Hogan gave Warrior his best match ever. So
yes,
go figure on that, right?
Triple H.
I'm not counting the Triple H match. Are you serious?
And my brother Randy
Made him look
Savage
strong.
gave me the best moment of my match too at WrestleMania 5. Because I did screw my brother out of that title. But we won't get on to that now.
So Dawn texted me the other day. He sends me a picture of a Hogan figure at Walmart. He's like, because normally if he sees him, he'll pick him up. He's like, the box is a little bit damaged. I was like, I already know. And I showed him a picture of the one I bought before because I was already up there. I'm hooked. I hate him and I love him.
Do you think he comes in and does something at WrestleMania 40?
I'm expecting a 30 segment.
I had talks with Hunter already, so they're going to be something.
Shit, I said 40. Let it in.
Hey, look, that Rumble promo kind of hooked me. I was like, put him in the match. He went back to old brother, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we get a WrestleMania moment without him this year.
I don't need it, but the way he got booed out of Tampa, it kind of was like, all right, do we need to have Hogan back? Like, that's his home city. Like,
so a lot of stuff happened in wrestling this week, so we'll move on and talk about what's going on. So let's start off with Mount Rushmores. Which one of y'all brothers want to start off today?
Hey, I was a huge Coco Beware fan back in the day as a kid.
Just walking around the house going,
bright ass colors, like little sunglasses.
Stop bringing up repressed memories.
What was him and Owen Hart? What was their tag team?
High voltage.
High voltage. I was gonna say high velocity. I was like, I know that ain't right.
Yeah, if you were between the ages of like 4 and 7 back then, and you weren't doing the Coco Beware strut around the house, you weren't a wrestling fan.
That Bushwhackers.
Bushwhackers.
Yeah. And my dad's two favorites was Hacksaw Jim Duggan with the 2x4 and the flag, and then the Bushwhackers. Those were his go-to.
I get a triangle Hogan still Walter Duggan.
Who doesn't like screaming ho?
Keep drinking.
I'll start it off.
Drinking this 40. If I keep drinking this bottle,
again,
we gonna be screaming a lot more than oh.
Well, is it just you saying 40 or us saying 40? Is it just you saying 40 or us saying 40?
I'm self-imposing the punishment on myself as well, but don't just randomly yell out.
Oh, because I'll talk 40 in a minute.
This is empty by the end of the show.
40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40.
We still got a segment to do.
Last time I chucked like that, boy, it was a bad night.
This might turn into an intervention episode real quick.
I gotta put Drew McIntyre's Mount Rushmore. Yeah, I've already had too much of the 40. I'm putting him up there. Troll Drew is just he has me interested again. And he almost dropped that. Tell me if I'm lying before the music hit, and that right there, I was like, you know what? I'm all in on this guy.
Did you see the social media post with him mixing the shake in his kitchen?
No.
You gotta follow.
I get bits and pieces of him. I don't see all of his stuff. I gotta start
follow
tuning
McIntyre,
in.
Man, he gave a little rundown, and it's just like the man is saying no lies. He's telling no lies. He's speaking truth, and it's hilarious. And the way he presents it, and it comes off, and he's just casually making a shake and everything else. Like it's solid gold right now. Like everything he's doing. So
there's a guy usually that's on this show every week. He talks about blinders and the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah,
it ain't happening on TV.
Yeah, he's not here this week, so we can't talk about it.
No.
I will say Punk's injury was a hindrance, but this has me more invested with him and McIntyre than it would have had with him and Seth.
Yo,
I'm waiting for this payoff.
If you have Drew beat Seth at WrestleMania and you go into SummerSlam and hopefully Punk can be back by then, and you have Drew and Punk headline SummerSlam in the main event for the title,
just made the situation better.
Yeah, I'm here for it, like for sure. So Drew is a solid pick right now. He could be on Mount Rushmore the last 4 weeks, the way he's been going. So ever since Rumble, the night after Rumble when the injury was announced till now, he's can't miss. You got to watch him every single Monday night.
Ever since I prayed for this dropped, I mean, you know what? I'm in. That line just had me hooked, and I'm Drew McIntyre again here on out.
Yeah, but his promo on X, he was talking about Seth Rollins and how you don't give yourself a nickname, you got to earn nicknames. And he was like, I've been the Scottish Warrior and the Scottish Psychopath. He goes, you think I put Scottish in front of every single nickname I had? Hell no. I earned those nicknames because I am a psychopath and I am a warrior. But you want to call yourself a visionary and you want to call yourself an architect. He just went on and on and on. I was cracking up. Like, man, he calling Seth out, running him through the ringer.
I don't get Drew, but every time Rock drops a 20-minute promo, it pops up on my timeline somehow. I don't even follow the man on Instagram. Shows up.
And he gave 8.5, almost 9 minutes of damn near the same promo. He changed a little bit of it, but he's like giving you the what's it called, Donna? The manga. He's giving you the manga. He's giving you the manga before, and then he's retelling the story on SmackDown at 8:00.
Sorry, Terry Bollea's alternate ego. Is he giving you the manga or the manga?
I'm so old, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
What's Instagram?
Brother is living the gimmick, and I appreciate that. Kayfabe is not dead on this show, and we're all here for it. Now that bandana has seen better days. That was,
I had to dig this out the closet, brother. This is back from like 2000.
There goes Chris pulling out the Logan Paul splash segment of the week where he takes a sip of Prime.
Trying to get that sponsorship, brother.
Yeah. All right, so we got Drew's a solid pick.
We got Drew McIntyre. I think I taught him a few things how to be a heel. I was there with Cody, so it's his turn.
Chris, you want to go?
Yeah, I'm giving it to Darby Allin this week. Great match with him and Jay White. I was thinking about going into the week. He was already kind of up there because I was like, he's leaving for a little bit to do the Mount Everest thing. But the match he had, I got to give him credit. 2 minutes into that match, he broke his foot, and went another, we'll say, 10 minutes, and just Darby doing Darby things in the match, putting his body out on the line the rest of that match with that broken foot, because you could tell he was going to it. Like, as soon as it happened, like, he almost reached to it, but I think he was trying to, like, play it off so he didn't get any attention on it. But the things he was doing in that match, this was no exception to what he normally does, but I just got to give him the credit for finishing that match with that injury.
They said Tony Khan slipped Jay White an envelope before the match. Like, take Darby out so he don't climb his damn mountain.
Well, I liked Jay White on his social media this week. Is like TMZ did the story, that Darby Allin broke his foot, and Jay White goes, know your references. Jay White broke Darby Allin's foot.
Oh, and everything I saw was Jay White broke Darby Allin's foot after that. Like, it's like, Jay White wasn't literally out there physically breaking Darby Allin's foot. Like, but
yeah, it was a complete accident, just the way he landed, but him putting the weight that he was doing on, because like soon as it happened, where you can tell like something happened to his foot, he got back in that ring and then he dove on the other side and landed on it. So it's like he was doing all his normal like best hits, diving on the outside. But even like whenever he was on the outside towards the end of the match, the ref was doing the 10 count and he just got up, jumped up right away and ran back in for the finish. But it's like, I don't know how he kept doing it on that broken foot the way he was.
Adrenaline's a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
But
like,
I mean,
I've had injuries to my foot before, and not anywhere near serious as what he had, and I know how bad it can be.
Darby Allin never hulked up before, so he don't know what adrenaline is.
It does come off the precipice of Al Snow getting a lot of flack this week for his comments coming out of the glass table spot. He basically said somebody in AEW will die in the ring, coming off the glass table spot that Allen did at the pay-per-view, diving off the ladder. And
his best friend Mick Foley and all the shit that he used to do in the ring, but someone's gonna die in AEW.
I mean, yeah, true. Not gonna say you're wrong in that comment, but it just seems like, I guess, a lot of the older veterans that were talking about that spot with the glass table weren't necessarily referencing or upset that he went through the glass. It was the way the chairs were set up and the way his body hit off the chairs that would have caused more of the paralysis, et cetera, et cetera.
It doesn't even take that much to do it.
No, it doesn't.
Look at Sting doing the Stinger splash and getting like the whiplash effect. It doesn't take much to have any type of paralysis or injury. I'm not saying you should still go and do whatever you want to do in the ring, but
as much as we hate the extreme, it's not going to come from an extreme style match or anything. It's just going to come from a move, a missed flip, a botched. It's going to be something like that. Yeah.
And I mean, go back to draws, go back to Stone Cold. Like, I mean, there's plenty of examples where it's not something that's a major. Hell, you can have Edge spear Hardy off of the belts from a ladder 20 feet up in the air, and that's fine. But, some other simple move,
Big E,
right? Not fully, like, it's just, it's literally centimeters and inches apart. And they say that all the time, but it's true. That's why you get the tagline, "Don't try this at home."
Yep.
Because it really is life or death in an inch or two. So Darby, him and Jay had a hell of a match. And shout out to Mars down in the den, the two-man Horseman podcast, having us on Wednesday night to chat up some AEW and WWE WrestleMania. I was watching that match live as we were on the show, and they were absolutely tearing the house down. But to your point, Chris, the fact that he did it on a broken foot and put that type of performance out there, it's going to make people love Darby Allin even more.
Mm-hmm. And he did say that now Everest is pushed back possibly a year. Could be more. You know, you never know how long this type of injury is going to affect. But does he come back before that again? Or is he just taking time off and we'll see him when we see him at this point? Which kind of made me surprised that he lost the match on Wednesday. Because I'm fine with the outcome of the match, but I was just kind of thinking like, oh, he's going to be taking a lot of time off here. Like I kind of thought Tony was going to send him out on a high, but I'm cool with what happened. But
you lose, beat him down right off for storyline reasons. That's normally how it goes when somebody's taking time off. Not necessarily. I'm not mad at it. I'm more mad at the stupid blow up between the Acclaim and Bullet Club Gold at the end of that. Like, I mean, granted, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang storyline sucked. It wasn't going anywhere. Everybody knew that they were going to turn on each other. Neither trio's titles have been defended since they formed, but yet they came together to take on the United Kingdom, and they've never once had one interaction with the United Kingdom. So that could, or Undisputed Kingdom, whatever the hell they're calling themselves.
Thanks, Nate.
Yeah. So yeah, that storyline purposes makes no sense. That could have been on my mush of the week for running that angle. But we'll see. I think, listen, Darby's over with that AEW fan base, so it doesn't matter how much time he takes off.
Yeah.
When he comes back, he'll be a number one babyface fan favorite like he was.
Let's see. What's your Mount Rushmore?
There were a lot of things this week that I had, but I'm going with Mercedes Moné. Just having Mercedes back on my wrestling television and knowing that she's going to be there each and every single week just puts a smile on my face. Damn near sold out the building, if not sold out. Got treated like a star the entire night. Like some people are over, right? But when you see her come into AEW and her walk out, and like there's a difference between star and like over. Like she's a star that transcends wrestling. And she got treated that way on the show. They bookended her start and finish. I believe her debut, once she came out, I think viewership was at 1 million or a little over 1 million plus.
Yeah.
They did lose some people at the main event because people didn't stick around. They just thought Willow and Rio, which was a really good match. But for wrestling reasons, we know that Mercedes is going to come back out at the end of the night. So they, some viewership dropped off because they didn't stick around for that. But she's a star. Allegedly, supposedly got paid about $5 million per year over 3 years, which makes her the highest paid woman in the industry. And deserves every single penny that she gets. She's top talent, arguably the best out there from a women's perspective, and has been for multiple years. So for that reason, kudos to her. Hopefully this changes the AEW women's division. I got a lot of matchups that I would like to see her run through and go, but let's make the women a focal point now. Let's have more than one match. Let's have more than one segment. And I believe she has the star power to do that. So hopefully they continue on that trajectory with her and elevate the women higher than where they've been at in AEW over recent years.
We'll see this week. She's supposed to talk on Dynamite again. Do you think, just with the call out this week on her debut, do you think it's Willow and her at Dynasty?
You can run that. But then, like, do you?
Isn't Willow already in the storyline though?
Yeah.
She up for TBS?
Yeah, she's up
they
in
have her
TBS
involved in
with
that.
Julia,
Yeah.
so I don't necessarily need that. Give me Mercedes and Serena Deeb off the bat. Let them two get out there, have a 20-minute just absolute banger because those two women can go. Serena is extremely underrated and underappreciated from a women's wrestling perspective. And you have a heel in Serena to push that babyface. I don't need Mercedes coming in and having her blur the lines between heel and babyface. You brought Okada in and made him a heel. It makes sense. He's knocking that out the park so far after 1 week. Let me enjoy this babyface run from Mercedes, and then you can turn her eventually if need be, because
that's where she plays.
That's where she plays, right? So I don't know. We'll see. We can have a tag match, but maybe her and Sky Blue just as a one-off, tied in with what happened to close the show, have a match. But I don't want you to stop Willow and Julia Hart's story just because Mercedes came in to move Willow off that and put her in a match with Mercedes. But yeah, I'll cast the CEO on my Mount Rushmore this week.
Brother, what you got?
Well, Darlon send me over all of his stuff, so I'll read his stuff off. And his Mount Rushmore is Okada. It seems like everything that he's been doing for the past week has been great. He's not talking much, but he don't need to talk much. That's what the Young Bucks are there to talk about. As long as he perform in the ring, whooping Eddie Kingston's ass, which I like, brother, which is gold. But everything that he's been doing so far, coming in, I love it. And that's about it.
Tell me when you're telling lies.
His interaction in the backstage segment with Marvez was great. He's like,
sing it.
And I was like, oh, it's so great.
That gave me like old school, like whenever Rock would do that to Coach and Michael Cole, like all the time.
Right. But his timing was spot on. Like, and even him in the match, in the tag match, in the 6-man, just the way he was working in the ring further established him as a heel. And he was doing those heel things that make you want to boo him and get under your skin and root for the babyface even more. So he's on a trajectory now. I'd have him go over on Kingston and take the whatever Continental Triple Crown Championship.
It's not for the Triple Crown. It's only for the Continental.
Okay.
So we're breaking the shit up again?
Yep. So I think this kind of, to me, it tells you the outcome when they're just doing one title for it, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, the second title, the ROH, is defending against Mark Briscoe at the ROH pay-per-view on Super Card of Honor, or whatever they're calling it, WrestleMania weekend. So, again, Kingston and Briscoe for that ROH title. But yeah, Okada is solid all the way around this week.
Agreed.
All right, so those were all Mount Rushmores. So it's time to get into the mushes, or I like to call the stiffs of the week. So who you sticking it to this week?
Whoa, we're stiff sticking?
Sticking it to the kid.
Whoa. I'll go first. My stiff sticking mush of the week is SmackDown outside of the Rock segment.
Yeah.
SmackDown last night was just, there was no point in even having a show. You could have sent them folks home after the first 30 minutes. There was nothing else after that did anything for me. I turned it off. Not worth it.
It feels like Raw is the show now. Like other than bringing out The Rock, I may get some interest from Bobby Lashley and Karrion Kross, but other than that, SmackDown ain't hitting for me.
I hate that Kevin Owens. I hate that Kevin Owens is added to a triple threat match for the U.S. title. Absolutely hate that. I love seeing KO and Randy Orton together. The stunner RKO finisher is a tag team finisher that I need to see from them two moving forward. Even though Austin Theory was a little late on the jump out of the stunner, timing was off. That's still a finisher that I would like to see moving forward.
That's a video game finisher right there.
Yeah,
he was looking like The Rock, getting stunned.
I don't the Rey Mysterio, Santos, LWO. I'm over that.
Stale.
yeah, there was nothing about SmackDown outside of The Rock last night made me excited, want to stick around. You know, even the Bailey match at the end, just
I enjoyed the match and that finisher.
so now we're injecting Naomi and coming down.
Yeah,
For what?
I didn't need that.
You gonna set up Naomi and Bianca against the Kabuki Warriors at Mania for the women's tag team titles? Is that where we're going? Spoiler alert.
Possibly.
Because Bianca wasn't there this week. So
we can discuss that offline.
yeah, but you're a month away from WrestleMania. And you throw that out there. But again, somebody was missing last night. And normally when he's not on the show, it's kind of a throwaway. It doesn't really matter. That'd be
Tribal Chief. Oh, okay.
Because there's half your show right there.
Got the Rock working more days than the Tribal Chief.
But I am going to need Roman to the whole Cody Roman with him not being there last. I'm more interested in the Rock versus Cody at this point.
Because the Rock's putting in all the work.
Based on everything that's gone on, I'm more invested versus Rock versus Cody.
You calling yourself the final boss? You just
oh yeah.
You call yourself the final boss.
So you're saying you need Roman on TV a little bit more?
You ain't M. Bison yet.
Coming into Mania, yeah. You should not be taking any weeks off coming into Mania.
Yeah, no.
It's exactly what he wants you to think, Dave.
Listen, the Rock singing "You're Welcome" to Cody Rhodes' mama last night.
Yeah.
Come on now. Absolutely. People were just so in love with the concert and everything else, and they loved them and everything. But it was a classic heel. Like, I'm gonna give you, hey, here, I'm here for you. Here we go. And then no, I'm gonna saw you down with this promo that absolutely cuts Cody Rhodes into pieces and shits on him for, oh, you slapped the Rock and first thing you do is you go out there and you cry? You cry? You and the rest of the Cody crybabies, you cry and we give the title to your mama. Like, like, come on. Like,
I did like the crowd saying whoop that trick when he pulled the belt out.
Yo,
they did it another time during the night. I was like, so apparently this is just going to be the
when they opened the show and they were panning around the crowd. I must have saw like 5 or 6 whoop that trick signs that people had made.
They did it during Bailey and Dakota.
Star like me, brother.
So yeah, SmackDown outside of Rock, my more stiff.
Chris,
I'm gonna go with
Good, Jason.
I'm gonna go with Candice LeRae's invoking the dead brother. I hate it every time they pull it. I'm here for Candice LeRae going heel, but come on, it's almost as bad as Christian.
Christian does it in a fun, entertaining way. Where
Still,
the people,
one time was enough.
It.
Nah.
Do you need
cringy when Paige did it? It's still cringy now. Nah.
I mean, we say on the show all the time that wrestling is best when it blurs the lines between reality and that work shooting line. But do you need them taking the fans booing her and bringing that over in the storyline?
I don't mind that. Yeah, you could have done that. Just stop invoking the dead people.
I'm not gonna sign off as a mush of the week for me. I think there was other things that were more terrible than that, but I can see your point of view.
I could throw some redundant promos up there. For much of the week. Like Rhea saying, as the weeks go on, it seems like we're getting closer to Mania. What are you saying? What time does?
That's how time goes, right?
Trick asking Mello, tell me why did you do it? Then telling everybody why he did it. Like, come on, let's get some better promos out there. Mercedes saying she found a hole, knowing she'll be back in WWE anytime soon.
Jason says you did Trick and Mello. That was my mush, or Donald's mush. The whole
Starting the line already.
Yeah. The announcing of Trick and Mello over social media, then rather have Mello come out on TV and say, yes, I accept your challenge. That there was, this is your hottest storyline going on in NXT, and you just announced it on like a random Thursday afternoon. Oh, yeah, they're going to be fighting at Stand and Deliver. Got to do better.
Yeah, I don't know if that's as bad as, Tony Khan coming into Shivani's ear and just making the match immediately after somebody says they want to challenge somebody else. Like, that's not believable either. I had my other mush stiff for this week, besides the SmackDown after The Rock, was the OTM LWO tag match. Was just trash way to open the show. It was not good. Bad sequence. You can tell them two are still greener than green back screen behind me right now. And just styles make fights, and that's not a good style for them right now. Like, it just didn't work.
They can get off my screen altogether.
Not Jada. Hey, Miss Parker.
I'll even allow Scripps to ride. He can stay for a bit. He pulled off someone else that looked pretty sweet. I'm like, okay. Just bring Reggie back.
Chris?
We discussed it on Wednesday night with Mars and Gerald on the Two Horsemen podcast, but I didn't see the segment until afterwards, so I kind of want to bring it up because just the way it turned out. But it's kind of the problem with Wardlow. Or I guess I should clarify, it's the TK's booking of Wardlow. That segment Wednesday night left me with more questions than I had answers. Like, where does this leave the Undisputed Kingdom storyline right now? Looked like we were going towards possibly an Adam Cole reign at some point, or something with Wardlow. So where does this leave Adam Cole? Where does this leave Wardlow? Where does this even leave Swerve at this point? Because we talked about how Ospreay's possibly coming in and could be champion a few months down the line, or 5 months from All In. So what storylines is TK just doing with his ADD booking right now that things have been shaken up? And where are we going from here? And then I was even thinking, at this point, do you keep the belt on Joe for Ospreay to beat him, or do you put in a transitional champion for him just to beat?
I put a pull up on Wednesday. Is Wardlow buried? And I think 93% of the votes came back as yes. It was just a simple yes, no, based off of Wednesday night's match. Is he buried?
I didn't feel, though, that Wardlow got buried in the match. Like, the outcome, yes, I can see that. But I felt like he was good in the match. Like, it was a good match between the two. But
it was a good Haas meat on meat match. But at the same time, the protective finish of, he didn't tap out, he just passed out from being choked out. That's way overran in AEW.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was good in ECW. And that's kind of the last time that was really relevant.
Wardlow was my only interest in the Undisputed Kingdom and where it went to from there between him and Cole. Now I don't care. He probably Swerve is
I don't know.
Don't know.
It's up in the air now.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want to talk about somebody that's come in and hit a grand slam? Ospreay between two matches and a promo, just fucking. They got. There were reports all day yesterday of Triple H screwed up. He didn't realize that he was as charismatic as he is, and blah, blah, blah. It's like,
we don't know what happened in those negotiations.
Yeah, and Ospreay laid out why he went to AEW.
Yeah.
So,
TK is booking his storylines like VKM books a Raw. On the card changes. I don't see Swerve might get passed up on this one.
Unfortunately, like when AEW first started, what Tony say? He had like the first 2 or 3 years of champions booked. And I don't know if that is still the case or that changes weekly, but like I would like to see there's people that I would prefer to see be champions first, but
over who? Over Ospreay or Swerve?
No, I would like to see Swerve be the champion soon.
My thing is,
I would like to see Wardlow be the champion soon too.
If he does, he's going to be transitional.
Yeah,
that's how it's feeling.
That's
to me.
what I don't want to see.
Yeah.
Well, if he wins it double or nothing, that's what May.
Yeah,
June, July. I mean, 3 months is 4 months is a transitional champ.
Every time they put it on Sheeta, it feels that way.
I mean, we haven't really had in AEW any short championship reigns. The main belt, other than like injuries, with Punk and Moxley. So it's like any like legit reign takes a while. But do we get to that point, like where instead of having long reigns, do we have a couple shorter reigns just to make somebody a champion? And do we need to just make them champion just to be champion for a shorter amount of time?
Not everybody needs a long run with the belt. It's as simple as that. Like you're not guaranteed a 90-day, 120, 180, whatever. Like not everybody needs a long reign with the belt. Story doesn't always dictate that. You can have somebody get super hot. Like Wardlow should have won the belt back whenever he was on fire. You make the audible then and put the belt on him then when he's the hottest thing in pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have him cool off in the TNT title picture and now come back to this.
And the crowd's still into him, though. Like, he is that homemade talent that the crowd still wants to get behind, heel or face. And the crowd proved that with me on Wednesday night with him. And you could put the belt on him tomorrow, and I think the crowd would eat that up. Like, even if there's no storyline behind it.
Some would say Joe may have been the short transitional champ, but Joe's so fantastic. Like, I don't want the belt to come off of him.
But he feels like a champion. He feels like it belongs on him. He feels like
absolutely,
yeah.
And that's why I'm thinking, like, I think him and Ospreay would be a really good match. But do they do some type of audible, like, to just have Ospreay like pick who he wants to defeat? Have that money match, like.
I could see Swerve winning the belt, and then he'll get Lance Archer first, and then he'll fight Hangman until he loses to Ospreay.
And then Wardlow's in there too.
Yeah, could definitely see that.
So okay, define transitional to me. Your thoughts on transitional? Like for me, it's not only short, but you have no storyline that's interesting. They feel like they're not putting anything into it to you. Is it just short, or is it the whole thing?
To me, it's short, but because like they know you're a transitional champion, so they don't give you a lot to go into it. Because they're building towards something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like AEW, whenever things are changing right now, where they're changing how many events they have. So even like before, if you would have had, say, Double or Nothing, and then nothing after Double or Nothing, then we got to All In, and someone won it. Double or Nothing and then lost it All In, I would consider that a transitional champion, only because it's only one event. Like there was one event and they lost it.
Okay.
For me, I say 3 to 4 months.
Other events between Double or Nothing and All In.
I said, things are changing now. Yeah, that's what I said. I specified that.
They had Forbidden Door the last 2 years between.
But I was going back to the way it was at the beginning. Like if it was Double or Nothing, then to All In. Yeah, now things have changed where they're adding events in between. But whenever it was like 4 months, like once a quarter you had an event, and if you only had it for event to event, which they never had, that's what I would consider an AEW. I would consider that a transitional champion.
Like
So
when you say
Swerve,
transitional champ, I think like Kane.
So
Like-
Swerve just lasted one pay-per-view to pay-per-view. If he got it now and lost it at what's you said 3 months, but he had like legit decent storylines in between, would you consider him transitional?
If they actually did something with it, probably not. Might be something that I would enjoy. But like you take like when Brother Up There won the belt, Iron Sheik won it, and then like almost immediately dropped it. He was a transitional champion. Yeah. I think there was like less than a month time frame in there.
Yeah, that's definitely transitional.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a good way to put it, Taquan.
Yeah.
Because like certain people, if Swerve wins the belt and he loses it to Ospreay at All In, I wouldn't consider Swerve a transitional champ because to me that's not them handing him the belt to give it to Ospreay.
Okay.
Like Ospreay's not bigger than Swerve. To me, it's like you're either setting up a heel to have the belt where they just come in and squash the brand new babyface champ who didn't really deserve it, or vice versa. But like you're not. I guess what it boils down to is realistically who has the belts and who's challenging.
Okay.
That's a good way to put it.
I can go for short reigns that aren't necessarily transitional title holders. Like, would you consider Big E's run as a transitional champ?
I don't consider him a transitional champ now.
Kofi
had that for a while. Like I don't consider him a transitional champ either.
Yeah, he had it from Mania until October.
Yeah,
he didn't care much about the stories, but
yeah,
he was still.
I mean, the way he
sometimes
lost.
the stories
I mean, the way he lost was like transitional.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, sometimes these reigns don't have the best story behind them. You might have some good matches in between there, but what happens with it isn't always the best. But there's a lot of talent that have had belts that I wish would have been better runs.
Oh, better runs.
No, not that they didn't have it, but
some other things that kind of popped up this week that I didn't necessarily like, which my stiff mushes of the week were a lot more than Mount Rushmore's as far as what I could have selected.
Yeah.
Tag team wrestling in general. The stupid tag team tournament in AEW, they announced those brackets with the championship match at Dynasty. The WWE putting the tag team titles in a 6-team ladder match, which they're running matches now to fill in those teams. NXT
this
tag
was a good
team
example.
titles.
This is a couple years ago. That's a good example of transitional.
But when he cashed in on E and then
lost it to Lashley.
Yeah. But NXT doing the same thing with their tag team champs. The women's tag team champs don't even have a match, although we kind of discussed where they may go with that. Just why can nobody book tag team wrestling properly?
And Triple H should be able to book it because he booked it well in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a problem with who's writing the shows? It's not necessarily him.
And then even this bracket for the AEW, it's like
you could have took TV Blood.
You have Young Bucks versus Private Party
again in a tournament.
You know who's winning that?
You got Undisputed Kingdom against a wild card one, so we don't know who that'll be. Best Friends.
That was House of Black and Infantry on one side for a wild card, and Best Friends and somebody else.
Oh, so
Best
those
okay. Best Friends already in
the wild card. Yeah,
got you.
Okay.
So Best Friends versus the Don Callis family will be
the wild card.
Winner of that will be wild card to go against Undisputed Kingdom, and then Infantry versus House of Black will be the wild card 2 to face FTR.
Mm-hmm.
You could have just took out 2 teams and eliminated that wild card match.
Yeah.
And then you have Big Bill and Starks against Top Flight. So you're going to have FTR against House of Black. You have Undisputed Kingdom against Best Friends.
Story.
You got Big Bill and Starks versus Young Bucks.
Story.
That's your final?
That's what I'm thinking is going to be the final.
You don't do FTR Bucks 4?
Not from a tournament.
This iteration of Bucks?
Not from a tournament.
Like you said before, they have no chemistry with each other.
I don't know, man. It's just the tag team wrestling thing just boggles my mind.
And all these tournaments just make it feel like you don't care. Because there's no story involved.
They have nothing
throwing
for
together
them.
matches.
Yeah. There was a time when there was very little tournaments in wrestling. There was only a couple.
Well, New Japan had them all.
Yeah, pretty much. TNA had one a year usually. WWE got out of them.
Was king of the ring. That was it.
And then whenever they got out of that, it's like
VKM hated tournaments, so that's why that didn't stick around.
And it's like now we have way too many. It's like can we just can each promotion just do one a year? Like I get whenever injuries happen and stuff, that you're gonna do that, for that. Okay, understandable. But like actual tournaments, like can we limit the amount of them?
Oh, hey, you Jason, it was you that brought up the Trick Mello announcement as a random match being announced.
No, that was Dawn.
Or brother up there.
Brother Terry over there.
But I see that and I raise you AEW's Collision announcement for tonight. Did you see the match announced for tonight?
Bryan versus Shibata?
Yeah. You randomly just dropped Shibata and Danielson? Are you freaking serious?
I mean, I'm gonna watch it, but yeah.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna watch it. But at the same time, why are you just randomly dropping Danielson and Shibata on Collision
with no build?
No build.
That should be the week before the event, Dynasty. Build it up a couple weeks, do it right before Dynasty, and just be like, all right, here's Bryan versus the New Japan guy before he wrestles Ospreay.
Shibata and Danielson should be on a pay-per-view, not on Collision.
Yeah. We're trying not to take it seriously.
I'm not the one running the gimmick, so he got to be more consistent in his own personalities.
That's the
Huckster over there. You're the one not running a gimmick.
This is me turned up to 11. What are you talking about?
There are 2 people on here today not running a gimmick. You are not one of them.
Jason's running a gimmick too. He ain't got no kids.
Allegedly.
He's Slater's biggest fan.
So is that all? That's all the mushes for today?
Yeah, I'll save the couple other things I have for quick hits before we wrap up the show.
All right. Well, it's time to get the game time. Since we are here doing 40 years of Hogan, we have my greatest moments. So there was a couple lists on the couple lists online. I had to go through each of them. I went through each of them, and then I made an average of which one of my moments was the best, which ones were the worst, and these were the top 8.
Cameo on Rocky 3?
That's the one that I can't get over either.
Underlips. What are you talking about? It was the biggest crossover. It's the biggest crossover moment at the time.
But there was a huge there was a huge question because it was before Hulkamania even started, and then they said, "Did this lead to Hulkamania?"
Yeah,
That
I
cameo.
mean, that was huge back then.
You could have put Mr. Nanny on this list.
Don't do that.
Or you can just kick back.
I think
on
Ty
this
brought up
list. You coulda
Suburban
put-
Commando earlier.
Yeah.
3 ninjas fight back.
I mean, Like-
WrestleMania 18 got to be higher.
wait, are we debating the order of these, or
order.
what we would select as our
The
number
order.
one?
The order.
The criteria. I need to
The
know the
order.
criteria.
Yeah, the order.
Look, third member NWO is going off the list altogether.
You're crazy. That's changed wrestling.
Off the list altogether.
He hates the NWO, man.
The career was getting stale, so
That-
me and Bischoff had to come
That
on.
was the moment I hated Hulk Hogan before I hated him again.
You were supposed to. He joined the NWO. They got you. They worked you. You were a mark.
It worked me. I hated the man. I didn't hate the man because I love wrestling. I hated the man because I hate the man. No. You turn your back on me, I hate you. I'm not watching your matches. I
think you was the person in the ring who Nash beat up.
I was the one that threw the cup.
Jason said, "Screw you. I'm not eating my vitamins anymore."
No, I ain't been healthy.
I'm not putting it up, but please, everybody, read Ty's comment.
That's gonna be Jason's cookbook.
For me, and I talked about this earlier. You know, the Ultimate Challenge is what got me into it, so I'd probably move that up the list more for me. Maybe I'd put that instead of Rocky 3. I wish I was watching wrestling when the Mega Powers was going on. Like I watched that back, you know, afterwards, because I didn't start till afterwards. But
The year-plus storyline that was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Like twist turns, the run-in to save Savage from Honky Tonk, the Miss Elizabeth taking her into the back. You got lust in your eyes for Elizabeth. Like that, the Mega Powers Foreman got to be higher on this list for me. I'll bump that over cameo of Rocky 3. Like there was some of the best storytelling in wrestling.
But slamming Andre is probably, we all keep that at 1.
I mean, yeah. I guess
I'm going top 5. I'm going slam it on.
Okay, sure, put that up. Who put that up?
The brother had nothing to do
Who's
with
getting
that.
fired today? Who's getting fired today?
Brother had nothing to do with that.
it's a story that stands.
My hands are up here.
It's a story that stands the test of time, Taekwon. It stands the test of
I
time.
hope y'all enjoyed Steve's run on here today, because Triple Threat starting next week.
I didn't hit the button.
That is
It's a
it.
technical glitch. I'm going for sheer moments and like odd moments in that. I go slamming Andre, NWO, Mega Powers, and then versus The Rock. Top 5.
Steve ain't allowed to drink
I'll
on the
go,
show anymore, by the way.
I'll go slamming Andre, Mega Powers, The Ultimate Challenge, The Rock as my top 4.
Man,
With the
NWO
Dude, knocking off the
boy.
greatest, with the best heel turn in pro wrestling. This dude's not putting in his top 5.
Yeah,
No.
I think what I said before, just swap out Ultimate Challenge for Cameo, and there's my top 4.
And as for me to end it, all of my moments are number 1 because I bring in all the money and the tickets. Brother.
When the last time you brought in a ticket?
QRC code.
When's the last time you hit that Hulk Hogan pose? Because that flex was a little weak.
I can't lift shit now these days. Got a weak ass hip.
You're supposed to have that replaced. You got two hips. You should be out there like a spring chicken.
They lie to you. Insurance, get your money. All
Quick
right.
hits.
Anything else for this week's show?
Yeah, JR announced this is his last year commentating, 2024. He will be done after this.
Says it's mostly going to be pay-per-views.
Yeah. Do we all have him as number one commentator on our list, on our Mount Rushmore?
Morrow.
Now you just troll him. JR is number one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. JR.
An Adam Lee original.
I liked him as a GM. I did like him as a GM. I would not sway away from that. I did like him as a GM.
Didn't he start the
He had the scramble.
Yeah.
The scramble, yeah.
Whether or not that was actually him, but
AEW's announcing a 3 pay-per-view price for one. They're doing a 3-for-1 on pay-per-views, but it's only for people in Europe. So if you're a US fan, you're ready to shell out those $50 per pay-per-view.
you can do it on Bleacher Report, but you ain't gonna be able to watch it.
Well, no, these ones are being offered on Triller. So
Okay.
it's not Bleacher Report. So it's through Triller TV. You buy one, you get 3. So
For the price of one, or
yeah. So you get Dynasty, Double or Nothing, and Forbidden Door, all for $50.
so what you do is you go over to Surfshark VPN, you subscribe to that, you switch over to the UK, and then you can buy the stuff on Triller.
There you go. How about your boys support the show and get 3 pay-per-views for $50? That's how we work in a sponsor. Good job on that. I'm glad somebody's paying attention. It was announced yesterday. Shayna Baszler will be participating in Josh Barnett's Bloodsport WrestleMania weekend, which has led to some reporting from Sean Ross Sapp, even though I hate bringing him up, that there's some other talents that will be announced to participate as well, WWE-wise. WWE never used to do this. Is this a changing of the guard to where we'll see more collaborations with other promotions and things for talent with WWE, or
we saw Nakamura last year go to, what was that? Was that Noah? Pro Wrestling Noah he went to last year?
But then Trips let him do it in NXT.
That wasn't promoted and announced. Like she's front center on a poster for it. Like announcements out there.
Isn't that usually Moxley's event?
But yeah, well, he's usually on it. But
yeah, I'm interested to seeing what they do with her. I mean, Trips ain't using her, so
yeah, she had a classic follow up to the announcement where she quoted the Dark Knight, the band, but changed, instead of darkness, she changed it to blood. It was pretty dope. So yeah, something else that caught my eye.
Cool. All right,
I'm good.
Kudos to the Huckster over here for living the gimmick.
My throat
for an hour and 6 minutes.
My throat hurts. Pause.
Call him the Cuckster or the Huckster?
Seriously, you are never drinking on this show again.
Line him up.
All right, I got to do this regular voice, man. My throat hurts. Yeah.
Get some tea.
Thanks everybody for listening, watching episode 179 of the Dumb Marks podcast. Big business, brother. Catch us on all of our socials at Dumb Marks Pod. Please email us. Please subscribe to Spotify. Please. Do it. Tell a friend. Tell anybody.
Don't sound
Come on.
desperate with it. I mean,
Yeah.
man.
I'm just
Please.
saying,
Out there on the
please,
corner
man.
talking about, I got a cheeseburger,
Hey.
man. You out
Hey.
there.
My OnlyFans is $3.
Hey,
Please.
hey, need to do something. So please go ahead and do it. Stop it. All right, and oh, my eyes hurt. The quote.
You just fully breaking the gimmick. Just take the headband.
My eyes.
Just take the shirt off. You gotta rip the shirt. You gotta rip the shirt.
Oh, that's
Oh man, you don't want to see all this under here. You don't.
You
You don't want
I
to
see the
all
NWO shirt
Yeah,
underneath
you-
it.
You say you don't want to see.
That's the elite quality right there. You can get that neckline.
he didn't cut the collar. He ain't ripping that.
I need this for next year WrestleMania. Quote of the week. Stand up and walk. Keep moving forward. You're strong enough to blaze your own path. Stand up and walk.
Was that
Keep
Hulk?
moving forward. You're strong enough to blaze your own path. And with that, thank you guys again. And to leave out, in every man's life, he comes to a crossroads and he has to ask himself that one question. What you gonna do, brother, when Hulkamania